Welcome back, everyone. Now, I'm going to go over a little bit of information before we get into the actual battle. And don't worry, in the future, I'll get into the actual battle itself. But for right now, to let you know, I did fix my issue where I'm using the proper version of Faith Overhaul II. Everything will be accurate in this battle and any battle onwards. Beyond that, I would like for all of you to give me feedback. If you have any idea on how I could become a better commentator for you, let me know down below. I haven't really done commentary for a long time in multiplayer matches, and I want to become really good at it. Why? I love watching skilled players go into multiplayer. I love commentating on multiplayer fights. They're really exciting for me because I don't know who's going to win. When I play, I know who's going to win. It either might be me or it might not, sure. But again, let's go over a few builds over here now that we've gone over that. So we're looking at a 2v2. We've got Chaos Dragons as a major theme for this army, and they're fighting a combined alliance of Elven and dwarven units. Over here, we're looking at a joint Chaos army. Now, whenever you're playing as Chaos, you could rely on your major large units. Sure, they're very powerful. You even have powerful magic, but you need something to be fodder. You need something to make up the front line of your soldiers. And so you choose Chaos Marauders. Over here, they have a 50% chance to block all small arms fire. That's really high. A 1 in 2 chance to block any type of shot from an arrow or a bullet. Over here, they have a weapon strength of 42 and armor piercing damage of 11, which makes them rather powerful. Their melee attack and melee defense isn't really that high, but that isn't a big deal because you can buff them up. We do have a Chaos Sorcerer of Shadow Magic that's going to do a lot to debuff their foes in battle, and I'm sure that's what they will do. Over here, we have Chaos Marauders that have great weapons, and these guys are great. They're cheap and they do a lot of damage. We're looking at 44 armor piercing damage, or weapon strength, but if we go look at the armor piercing damage, they're actually doing 24. Okay, over here we do have Chaos Trolls that are armored, and in Faith Overhaul II, they are mighty. That's all that you really need. We're looking at 100 armor, 160 for weapon strength, and a 52 charge bonus in addition to a melee attack of 43. Now they do have a low melee defense of 29, meaning that if you focus on them, they will take damage. Now here's something unique about them when it comes to Faith, and if I begin to go over the same factions in Faith multiplayer battles, I won't go over every nitty-gritty stat. But for now, because it's all new for us, we will go over it. So they do have troll metabolism. They're able to replenish health, but they also take a little bit more damage to fire. Now, usually in the base game, it's like what, 20%? Here, it's 10% more. But they do have a 20% physical resistance, which is very powerful. Okay, let's go look over here. If you don't focus them down, they will stay there and they will linger in your ranks. You don't want that. We're looking at 2 Hell Cannons, and if you don't really take these down, they can do so much damage. They can not only hit your men for a large amount of damage, but they can also debilitate your leadership. And over here we have Forsaken. These guys are, as the name over here would imply, damage dealers, and they can frenzy, which means that you'll lose control. And they do have a very high charge bonus of 41, in addition to a staggering 73 weapon strength. Over here, again, more Marauders. We do have Surreal, the Everwatcher, one of my favorite legendary lords. A Lord of Change is quite exquisite. An incarnate representation of magic and Tzeentch itself. We're looking at quite a few spells over here. Final Transmutation for a single target spell. If you, actually it's no longer, well, it is like that versus a single combatant, but it can cause damage to even more than just that too. Yeah, it was changed up from back in the old days of Warhammer 1. Either way, we're looking at quite a few effects over here for melee attack. We look at a potential for flaming attacks. It does have magical attacks, which will break any type of protection that they have against physical attacks. And over here, they will be blinded for a period of time. Look at that debuff. Melee defense goes down by 24, melee attack goes down by 28, and they're not nearly as accurate. That is a great amount of debuffing that can be done. And over here, we have our Chaos Zealots, and they're part of the undivided faction of Chaos. These guys over here, one look really cool, and they look like they're about to blow things up. But anyway, they have a few powerful spells. We're looking at Unholy Pact over here that could heal up a group, give them magic resistance, and make them immune to psychology, which means that fear and terror will not work. And over here is Soul Leech, where they will move a little bit slower, they'll take more damage from magical spells, and they will take damage too. So if you want to use that ability first, you can then use your spellcasting and do even more damage. Over here, we have a lot of Marauder Horsemen who are off in their flank, and trust me, whenever you're looking at that, you don't like it. You're like, man, I can't charge in because these guys over here will harass me. Okay, so for the other player, well, before we go on to that, we do have a Chaos Lord riding on a dragon for a staggering, again, 700 for weapon strength, a 100 charge bonus, and that will be divided up between your weapon strength and your melee attack, so you'll have a higher chance to hit and you will deal more damage. And over here, a great chaos dragon. These two can go down if you focus on them, but you've got to worry about hell cannons. I mean, what a great distraction. Not only do you have hell cannons, you've got great chaos dragons. Over here, let's go over the high elven and dwarven army. After that, I will not be going into slow motion. Okay, Alistair, the white lion, he's strong, but I don't think he's really chaos dragon strong. We're looking at how much? 55 melee attack. He's got a chance for flaming attacks. We're looking at 600 weapon strength and only a charge bonus of 70. Normally that would be powerful, but not when you're fighting chaos dragons. Over here for a front line, we have over here many longbeards and dwarf warriors that have great weapons. I do understand their logic. They want armor piercing. They want to be able to break through that dense chaos armor. But our guys over here didn't bring chaos warriors at all. Neither did they bring in chosen, which means that I don't believe that build will work out terribly well. We are looking at spearmen over here, where they have a charge defense against large foes. Now, again, I won't use slow motion once we get to the actual battle. I'm still going over things right now. So here's a really important thing for you to know. Now, whenever you have a charge defense against large foes, you want your unit to stand still. When they stand still for a period of time, they will brace. When they brace, this little effect will come into play, and that will completely negate an enemy's charge bonus, meaning that 100 charge bonus from a group of dragons will not impact them. They'll still be hit, sure, but they will not get that charge bonus, and that's really important. Okay, let's go on again. They do have a golden shield, meaning that they're able to block how much? 70% of all small arms fire, but they're not really dealing with a lot of that, not when fighting chaos. Over here, more armor piercing from dwarf warriors. We're looking at white lions of Krace, who have a very high weapon strength of 60 and a charge bonus of 22, now 64. They are buffed up. They do have a locus of power to give them magic resistance. They do have forge fire to give them more armor piercing damage. And over here, as a default high elven ability, martial prowess, which will give them 12 to melee defense and +2 to melee attack. And then naturally, they have Ruby Guardian Phoenix, which is really not a bad idea because chaos can have a lot of fire damage, though they didn't really bring that this time. The Scolder Guard, Iron Drakes. Okay, so here's the Regiment of Renown. These make a big difference in multiplayer fights. They have a missile damage of 205, and they are not only armor piercing, but anti-infantry. They're pretty sturdy. They can do a lot over time. We do have a Rune Lord to support the frontline troops. Now, whenever your guys are pretty, spread out, that can be tough. You can use your runes, but it will not impact nearly as many. But these guys are tough, but their damage output isn't the best in the world. Over here, we do have a Lord Master of Hoeth joining a bunch of unique Still Faith units called the Handmaidens of the Everqueen. Now, these ladies here are deadly. We're looking at, what do we have over here? 59 weapon strength. Okay, so that would give them 39 armor piercing damage. They deal more armor piercing damage than anything else. They do have a charge bonus of 30. And if we go look at it, a very high leadership of 116. These ladies will do a lot during that battle. Over here, we do have a Rune Smith to help out that Rune Lord, and that will buff up another line. So yeah, if you can't support your entire army with only one Rune Lord, why not bring in a Rune Smith? They are affordable, and they can buff up your unit by giving them more armor and even damage negation. Okay, so beyond having a bunch of dwarf warriors, we're looking at the Grumbling Guard. Unfortunately, they are being hit by those hell cannons. They have an armor of 120, they're old grumblers, and so they're going to stay in that battle for a longer period of time. They can even encourage nearby allies, and by doing that, they get more leadership. So we're looking at a weapon strength of 52. Right now, Alistair's being chased, and back here, what do we have? We're looking at more dwarf warriors, more sword masters. Now, sword masters are one of my favorite units. They're well trained. Not only are they book nerds, they know how to fight in battle, and they even have a chance to deflect missile shots, a little bit like a slayer. Okay, so we're looking at a weapon strength of 50, a charge bonus of 20, and for that armor piercing, we're looking at 25, and a bonus when fighting infantry, which is 20. So these guys will chew through any basic infantry group. And then we have the highly elite Phoenix Guard. They're right here. We're looking at an army of 100. They, again, have a charge defense against all, and they are melee experts here. They have a very high melee attack of 52 and a melee defense of 52. While they're not quick, when they get into a battle, they will score many kills. Okay, then we have the Gate Guard, again, unique to Still Faith Overhaul. Now you can use them in a defensive battle at a gate in the base game, but here they can actually be used in a battle. They have anti-large, they have a great range of 185 and a missile damage of 32. And over here, we do have our Iron Drakes that have Trollhammer torpedoes. They're not anti-infantry, they are anti-large. They do have a low rate of fire, but they can damage large units, and that can be very good, though it can be difficult to hit a flying unit. Okay, it's time for me to go over the battle right now. Alright, now in the future, if you want me to, I can always go a little bit slower whenever we're looking at spells being used. And here we go right now, they're using a miasma on Alistair, which is going to slow them down. And when you do that and you use Foe Seeker, you will catch up to any unit that you're trying to catch. Alright, so we're looking at the Enfeebling Foe and Earthblood. So they're trying to heal up their buddy over here and buff him up while he's being debuffed. And so I'm going to bring up the informational panel. He's nearly gone already. That guy's taking a lot of damage. They know that they need to move in quickly. Why? Because they will take more damage from those Hell Cannons unless they can destroy those Hell Cannons. I mean, that's a direct shot from a Hell Cannon itself. Yeah, he's all buffed up. He's using a potion of full hardiness. Sartorial is now using magic on him. They're trying to take out their leader early on, and he's nearly gone already. That final transmutation is about to wipe him out. They're now moving in their Marauder Horsemen. As of this very moment, we're looking at a Mighty Breath attack doing significant damage to that Lord Master of Hoeth. These Hell Cannons are continuing to barrage our foes, and that enemy Lord is now dead. He's done for. They're using Earthblood. Yeah, unfortunately, if you have two flying creatures that are really that mighty, they're going to take out your flying Lord. You don't really have a chance. Many of these elite units have already taken a lot of damage. Let's go check out the charges real quick. We do have a Peak Gate Guard, which I did miss. Now, these guys are by far one of the mightiest melee units that you can really deal with, and then I'll stop going into slow motion, but I did forget about them. Now, not only are they damage dealers, usually when you have a damage dealing unit with that trait, they aren't heavily armored. These guys are 120 for armor. Not only that, they have magical attacks. It doesn't matter what defenses you have, they'll break through it. And they're able to sunder your armor by 30, meaning that right now, Chaos Marauders only have 30 armor. That's it. And a weapon strength of 75. So that's going to tear through a lot of units, and now we can go back into it. So you can see them charging at various points throughout this battle. The Chaos Lord is coming in to help out right now. We're looking at not really too many units that can shoot at these dragons. They use another breath attack to wipe out that group of Longbeards, and we have trolls moving in to clean them up right now. And so let's go look over here. They're trying to guard that one Hell Cannon. It did not work out. Unfortunately, it looks like they were able to shoot it with their brimstone guns. Over here, we're looking at an Unholy Pact, which is healing them up. That is a spell from Sartorial, or even the Zealots of Change. It will heal them up, and over here we're looking at a Plague of Rust, which is currently debuffing their armor by 50, or it was for a brief period of time. We now have the Runesmith moving in right over here, and if you go look on the other side of the battlefield, that Chaos Lord is now moving back out. The Handmaidens are trying to fight pretty darn hard. Over here we're looking at even more magic, which is currently debuffing very volatile units like the Swordmasters. It's now gone, but we're looking at more magic again. That Chaos Sorcerer is really trying to hit hard right now. And so, as we look at that, they're using the Withering to get rid of armor and leadership. Let's go on and look at other parts of the battlefield. They're trying to target these flying units, which is quite understandable, but they're unable to keep that up for right now. They will get away eventually, and so they did. Now let's go check the middle of the battle. The Peak Gate Guard, they're dealing a lot of damage. They've gotten over 100 kills. The Lord Master's helping out too, and we do have a Rune Lord nearby. But again, they're fighting over a wide line. Okay, the Rumbling Guard, they've been debuffed. Everyone here has been debuffed right now. Their melee attack is only 13. That is rather minimal. Now we have Marauder Horsemen who have not only mobility, but armor piercing. These guys will throw axes into their backs, and they will not get very far because of it. And then we have debuffs from Sartorial too. All right, let's go back over here to the middle of the map. If I'm moving too quickly, let me know. The Peak Gate Guard is now going after a Hell Cannon, which currently has 46 kills. And it looks like in the middle, they are winning a little bit. They've killed a lot of Marauders. But let's see what's going to happen next. Over here, the Chaos Trolls have killed 42, and they're still standing. Another group of Chaos Trolls over here, only 30 kills, and they're taking more damage. They're currently fighting the Handmaidens who are buffed up. So they're using a lot of buffs and debuffs right now. Over here, we've got a few Swordmasters who are now beginning to flee. He focused a lot of debuffs on them to where his own basic units could focus all of them down, and so they did so. Okay, back here we're looking at the Chaos Sorcerer who might or might not be out of magic. I do hope that one day we get a proper replay client so that we can look at every stat and what they're at right now. But anyway, back into the game. Yeah, that Chaos Lord is currently keeping a lot of units busy. He's not really taking too much damage. He did use a standard die to give him more leadership and melee defense. The Phoenix Guard is trying. They've only gotten 12 kills. For their immense gold cost, that is really not a lot at all. So let's go back over here. We're looking at a few Swordmasters left, and they're fighting Sartorial, who has 22 kills and is debuffing everyone. That Lord Master is trying to kill a few more of these Zealots of Change, or as they're called right now, Chaos Zealots. Okay. And again, more of these guys are moving around. They might go after those gate guard who do not have a lot of kills. They were trying to focus down the dragons, which is quite understandable. Let's keep on looking at what's happening right now. The Forsaken have broken through. It looks like many of these lines have now broken. Chaos has a distinct advantage. They were able to use their unique, powerful units to break through them. Their infantry was only meant to be fodder, but through the use of magic, they were able to take down so many of them. They were able to debuff their more powerful units and keep them away while dealing damage over time. In addition to a great usage of a bunch of mounted units. Look at that. They're currently being debuffed by a soul leech, so they can't really move any faster. Over here, we're looking at a runesmith being targeted. Now, these guys are tough, so they'll be here for a little bit of time. We're looking at the Scolder Guard shooting point blank. They have right now 80 kills, which is a decent amount, but I don't know how much further they'll be going. That Lord Master's dueling the Everwatcher. I don't know how that's going to go. Let's go watch it for a brief moment. Yeah, not so well. He's trying. He's gathering up his power and all of his book smarts. He's being a freaking nerd, but it's not really working out. The power of nerdom did not win out today. Here comes another breath attack. I thought they would use them all at once, but they didn't. Now, I did miss one unit of Aspiring Champions. These are a great supportive unit where you're able to buff up nearby units in addition to doing some great damage. Now, they also have a nice little ability over here called Sundered Armor to get rid of 30 more armor. What a nice unit to have. So they brought in a lot of stuff to debuff their foes, and it did work out. It did pan out for them. They're using a Master Rune of Wrath and Ruin on these Chaos Trolls, but that will not be enough. We do have a few Gyrocopters left. They took out one Hell Cannon, but that's really about it. That Chaos Lord is still attacking, over 100 kills now with a Chaos Sorcerer who's still alive. They're going after that Rune Lord who they debuffed. Over here, that Hell Cannon is gone. The Peak Gate Guard is fighting. They have nearly 200 kills, but it's not nearly enough because they are not taking out the most valuable units of our foes right now. It's really difficult when your foe has artillery and you do not. Why? They can dictate the flow of a battle. And that's what they did. Our poor Elven and Dwarven friends had no choice but to charge in, and right now that Runesmith is being surrounded. We have Sartorial still fighting, and he's going to be okay even though he's being attacked right now. That Rune Lord is still going around, and we're looking at a solid victory for Chaos. We can see that they have taken over everything. We can see how a lot has broken, but it doesn't really matter because the more important units of Chaos are still around. Like that Chaos Dragon. A Great Chaos Dragon has over 100 kills, so does the Chaos Lord. What a well-spent amount of gold. The Chaos Trolls are still alive too, and they're able to regenerate over time. That could be tweaked over time, but it's not really too powerful to be overwhelming. These Iron Drakes are done for right now. We have a few more units that are currently cutting them down. Let's go look at that iconic battle right in the middle where it looks like everyone's beginning to break now. They've lost too many soldiers, and that battle is now over. A Pyrrhic victory. Okay, so right now we're looking at 103 kills for our Chaos Lord, which was used by Phyllis. And again, a big shout out to Jack, Jog, Dunder, and Phyllis. You guys had a great match. I really enjoyed spectating it, and thank you for giving me that opportunity. Okay, let's go look over here. Unfortunately, one dire issue in the very beginning is you kind of have to try to guess with all of your power what your enemy might bring. So they were gearing up to fight Chaos Warriors and Chosen, at least in my point of view. They can correct me in the comments down below, but in my point of view, they were gearing up to fight a lot of Chaos Warriors. Unfortunately, our friends over here on the Chaos side said, haha, no. We're gonna bring in a lot of fodder. And what you'll deal with are these unique, powerful units who can get into the fray and get out of the fray quickly in the form of Chaos Dragons and a lot of magic. I was really impressed with their overall magic use. You get to use a lot more magic and still faith because you get more winds of magic reserves. So you're able to see a lot more spellcasting going on, which can change the fate of an entire battle. Not to mention, as Chaos Dragons are able to breathe out their attacks, which are devastating. They're called magic missile attacks by their type, but they're actually breath attacks. Anyway, so they were able to wipe out entire groups. If we go look at it, the High Elves had very few units, which would have been fine, but just Hell Cannons and his breath attacks were wiping them out. The Phoenix Guard were not able to do much. The White Lions were able to get through a little bit, but they weren't able to get their full allotment of kills. I really wonder if they should have brought in more low-tier infantry. Maybe that would not have helped. I wonder if maybe a standard Tyrian would have been even better. I wonder if a Tyrian could have gone after Sartorial. That might have been okay, and Archmage would have been targeted by those Chaos Dragons, and it would have been hard to defend against that. They take time to take down. Okay, over here for Jog. Jog, I believe, had the right mindset. But in this case, I wonder if artillery would have been a better shot here. if we brought in, like, let's say organ guns, maybe you could have dictated the fight a little bit more to where you could have hit those hell cannons and taken them out early on while forcing your foes to come towards you. Maybe even targeting their own more elite units like dragons or the aspiring champions or even the chaos trolls. So really, what won that battle for them? One, magic. One was definitely magic. Beyond that, you had a lot of debuffing, you had a lot of powerful spellcasters, you had a lot of really powerful units who were able to deal more damage than they often would because of magic. Beyond that, you had trolls who just were stuck in his lines, man. I mean, look at that. One was fully healed up. I don't even know how that happened. That's beyond insane. Over here, another one's nearly fully healed up again. Dunder brought in, oh, he brought in the 2 hell cannons, so it wasn't divided. And he brought in 2 groups of chaos zealots in addition to Forsaken and other units too. So they all played a great game. I really think it would have gone a little bit differently if it wasn't for Alistair dying in the very beginning. But that was a great match. You guys fought well, so kudos to all of you, and I can't wait to see more. So do leave a like down below and look forward to more. And again, let me know what you think I could be doing better. I'm going to be recording in bulk, but after that, I'll be taking your advice, internalizing it, digesting it, and you'll be seeing it later on. So as always, until then.